What's going on, everybody? I'm SystemCheck66. I've got my laptop back so I can edit properly now, which I'm so happy about, and it's good timing because there's some new rumours regarding Resident Evil 8, so we're going to get straight into them. So first off, this is from Biohazard Declassified. Enemies. The enemies within these areas are very pale, almost rotten skin with tattoos on their foreheads and hands, some with armour but not like knight armour. That can also be shot off. They only speak of normal enemy types in this test, not of the werewolf-like creatures we'd spoke on, and that was shown in the trailer. They do speak in a distorted foreign language. Some carry daggers, swords, axes, and even spears. There are some without armed weapons. They jump and grab and bite similar to Resident Evil 3, and you can button mash to take less damage. Some enemies will throw you to the ground instead of biting. The one with the sword has a special attack that can instantly behead Ethan, much like the Hunters could do in the original Resident Evil and the remake. And according to the source, you'll recognise the move once you play the game. Playtest segment environment. This part is rather interesting because it seems the segment they mentioned being tested seems to differ from the information from the other tests that seem more like Ethan was in the village itself leading up to the castle, whereas this information takes place directly within. That's interesting because in the trailer we saw that Ethan clearly wasn't in the village. He was in an apartment somewhere or a house somewhere with Mia. And then he goes to the village. Anyway, carrying on. Most rooms were bright, but few bedrooms were dark. The segment was somewhere within the castle on a higher level, and you needed to find a key to open a big door downstairs. Interesting that it's going to take place more in the castle for quite a lot of the game's runtime. That's quite cool. Personally, I feel like it's going back to, RE7 and the original Resident Evil's kind of roots. Boss fight. So here's where the information gets really interesting, as the claim goes into details of a boss fight you get in the playtests. Now this does line pretty close to what we know of the first. They said watch, bit of a typo there, of the first, which we spoke of from the other tests. That can dissolve into insects and chases Ethan, and has a very distinctive laugh. They also give a name to the witch and refer to her as Olga. So we saw her in the trailers, there's all these bugs coming out of her and stuff. That's quite interesting. It's adding up. Once opening the door, the lady in black named Olga appeared and released a swarm of insects. The player won't have to fight the insects unless she spots Ethan. She would laugh constantly whenever she spots him. In this boss fight, players grabbed a torch to use fire to scare her insects off and get Olga exposed so they could shoot her. After a bit of shooting, she'll transform into this insect spider-like creature, a little bit like Marguerite, with long spider legs and releasing more insects coming out from her insect-like bottom. They got an obsession, Capcom, like beehive vaginas, insect, bottoms. Her human remains are still there, but naked and covered with black goo. After the defeat, she melted and some parts of skeletons covered in the goo remained as she dropped an item. She also released all of her insects, to which the player will find and kill them to stop them from attacking you in certain rooms. After that, the demo ended, so very Marguerite-esque. Weapons. The playtest featured a handgun, probably the same one shown in the developer preview, a shotgun, possibly obtained from the old man in the trailer, and an unbreakable knife. It also appears the player can obtain temporary melee weapons like an axe that can be broken off with a few hits. That's interesting. That's cool. I think that's pretty cool. Inventory. According to our source, the inventory screen wasn't the same as the special measured video, but similar. A Resident Evil 4 concept and Resident Evil 7 UI design. The game paused when viewing the inventory like Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes. During the testing, there also wasn't currency added and the enemies didn't drop items. Instead, crates and phases were breakable to find items. The mysterious old woman. The old woman in robes that can be seen from the Resident Evil Village reveal trailer was also mentioned by our sources being almost a merchant-like character in the game. Congratulations all you guys who got it right. As far as our source knows, she is not an enemy, but as our source described, has many goods to sell and rumours to share. They also spoke briefly on seeing some concept art, but didn't speak much on it. So yeah, we got that right. Miscellaneous, Resident Evil Village playtest information. It seems during the playtest many things were still getting shifted around, which matches rumours from those like Ascetic Gamer, aka Dos Golem, who say the game is still a work in progress, with placeholders being used as the enemies, had their dialogue added while Olga didn't have her audio added during the boss fight. But the screaming and laughing and players were told that those weren't her actual VA lines and are just placeholders. After the test, participants filled out a survey and had a sensing session on their thoughts on Resident Evil Village. followed by refreshments. The length of the playtest seemed to clock in around 30 minutes, and testers were allowed at least 2 runs, and it was played on PlayStation 4 Pros. Interestingly, they also spoke about producer Peter Fabiano being in attendance at a specific test, as he was reported as speaking about adding a new difficulty to triple the number of enemies in some areas, saying, "Let's call this difficulty unfair." Though our sources say he wasn't sure how serious Peter was actually being, and this part we're unsure of how true it is. Another small claim was that the music starting at 1:30 is the music that plays during the encounter with the large enemy seen jumping off of the roof in the Resident Evil Village reveal trailer. That's a very similar Mangini looking executioner type enemy. They also said to expect a new trailer in August with new information from Capcom. According to them, the story will become more clear, another returning character will be revealed, and there will be another twist. Interesting. Could be clear, who knows. Finally, they said a VR version of Resident Evil Village will happen, but they won't make that announcement until Sony is ready. We'll continue looking for all possible information until official news comes out next month. What are your thoughts on the Resident Evil Village so far? Let us know in the comments below. So, all very interesting. Biohazard Declassified there. Could literally just be someone that's made these rumours up, but it seems like this is coming from quite a reputable source. Playtesters, also Dust Golem. Everything that we went through, very interesting. A lot of us got the merchant right. The old lady is a merchant. So, congratulations to all you guys who guessed that one. Returning character, who could that be? Maybe Leon, maybe Claire. It could be anyone. Could be Barry, could be Jill. I would like to see Jill hanging out with Chris in this, but we'll have to see. And also, August is coming up. They're going to have some actual concrete news and information regarding Resident Evil 8 Village. As I'm calling it, I'm not going to refer to it as Village, Resident Evil 8. Got to shout out my mate Brian as well, Brian T. Yeah, we, and a lot of you as well have said you don't really like the Village being the first title and then Resident Evil 8. I agree with you. I think it should be Resident Evil 8 Village or The Village, but it's a minor. I think they're going to change it because they did have some surveys and stuff, and I actually signed it saying no, I'd prefer it to be Resident Evil 8 Village. Yeah, just quite interesting. The boss, very Marguerite-like, definitely. All the sort of flyers and stuff coming out of her and the bugs, and having a weird bug booty, like they said. Their obsession with bug vaginas and shit is a bit weird, but it's Capcom. They made some weird shit in the past. So yeah, all sounds very cool. There's a little bit of a hide and seek cat and mouse game going on, like RE7, hiding from Olga and stuff like that. So I quite like that, and also seems like we'll be in this castle and this mansion-looking sort of environment for quite a lot of the game, and I like that. That's going back to Resident Evil 1 roots and Resident Evil 7 as well. So that's cool. We've got a haunted house to play around in. Obviously, there's going to be the village and some other places and stuff, maybe some labs and things along the way. It is Resident Evil, so we'll probably get some environments like that. Overall, everything that I read, yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited. No real news on the werewolf enemies or some other enemies that are going to be in this game, but we did get a kind of hint and a tease at some of the main enemies that are going to be attacking you, and they do seem a lot like Plagas, a lot like the Ganados, so that's interesting. Yeah, so that's it. That's all the information I got. Glad I got my laptop back and I could give you guys the info and bring you a video. If you like this video, smash the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're a big Resident Evil fan like me, because I'll be covering this game up until its release. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and until next time, I've been System Check 66. I'm signing out. Take it easy.